Yeah, Paul might join us. He just sent a message thanking me for giving him an invite.
All right, cool. How you going out there in the interwebs world? You got Robbo and Dr. Bob today. If you got a question, just ask them, and they won't even have to tell me. I'm sure they can just answer it for you. Don't mind me. I'm just beating my shed up. It's all right. I thought I could make the door bigger, but it didn't work.
So, Robo, you can answer any question about him. What's his favorite color?
Huh. Black, I think.
No. What color is around your names? That should give you a pretty good hint.
No, I know you like red. That's why I said black.
It's a shade of red there if you shine it in the light.
Or is it magenta?
No, there's too much pink in that.
And what was his hobby before you got him in wood turning?
I would never clue.
Well, that must have been a secret hobby.
I know. I think he used to do resin sort of stuff, that sort of stuff, and turning deer antler and crap like that.
Oh.
They're working, is it, Jay? Right. Hello, Amber, in the background there. Oh, watch out, Jay. She's got the gloves on, mate.
I hate this. I get my phone out to pull it up on so I can see the chat, and the first thing it tells me is my Fitbit is running low. I need to recharge it. That's my watch.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
I feel like I'm controlled by machines.
Well, that's easy. Take them all off.
Then I'd have the VA yelling at me. The doctors.
It's like my wife. She's got a heart monitor that tracks her pacemaker.
Yeah.
And anyway, they rang up one day and said, "Oh, look, we're going to send a technician down to have a look at your wife's heart monitor." And I said, "Why?" "Well, it hasn't shown any recording for nearly a week." And I said, "Well, that's hardly surprising." And they said, "Oh, why?" I said, "Well, she's not here." I said, "She's in Norway." Oh, they said, "Yeah, well, it won't track from over there." I said, "No, I didn't think so."
So did you get your lamp order finished?
No, I got to do the bases yet. I was going to do them this afternoon while Jay was on, but like I said, I'll get them done when I get them done.
No timetable set on them.
As long as she gets them by about mid or end of next week, she'll be happy.
Was she own a chain of stores or just a very popular one? Or being
No,
an interior designer?
she actually makes lampshades, and the lamps are a sort of sideline she got into to display the lampshades more than anything else. But the lamps are taken off, so she wholesales at the stores. So she not only sells the shades, she also sells the lamps as well. So worked out well for her.
It's like right down the end of the tool. It's like hitting the cricket ball and the cricket ball jarring the bat.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
So I just have a break every now and then. It's my bad wrist too. So
yeah.
But yes, that is definitely doing a much better job, much cleaner job too.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so Dr. Bob, I come out this morning and it had no splits in it, no cracks, nothing. Doing good. Can't say the same for the lid though. That's the opposite.
Huh. That's our character lines.
Yeah. Got lots of those.
Yeah, when you get my age and Robo's age, you got a lot of them. You just can't go out windsurfing and have women admire your body anymore at our ages. Other than saying, oh my God, he's still alive.
Who says I got to beat him off with a stick?
I don't think he's talking about the seagulls though, Robbo.
Oh,
they're birds, aren't they?
Yeah. Especially if you got chips, you're in trouble. What's going on? Not gonna wheelie, brother.
well, no one's watching. Let me get this. Yeah, I've got a humidifier in the house, but it doesn't work.
Oh, right.
Well, it works, but the overflow pump doesn't work, so it floods the furnace and the furnace room. So I got to get another pump and control for it, water float valve.
All right, I'm gonna. I waited around a little bit to see if anyone else was going to come in. I'm going to go full screen now, so just give us a yo if anyone says anything in the private chat.
So what did you do all morning, Robo?
I've been turning. I've had a few things I've had to get out of the way.
For clients or for your household?
No, for clients. You got a bracket or something? Yeah, that's better. Yeah, it's a good view there, Joe. Just shift the light around a little bit if you can. Just to, just need the camera. Just needs
Yeah, no. I've just set it there for a sec because I'm like my grandfather always said, we should have been born with 3 hands.
Well, that's right. That's why I say. That's why I always say God's a woman, because if it had been a man, we would have had 3 hands.
That's a good one.
Jesus.
We need
Watch out. Amber's listening.
Oh, I won't talk about her then.
No, you already said about the women's and the men.
I think Amber knows me pretty well by now.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll adjust the camera in a sec. I'm just using my sophisticated camera holder to fix it up a bit, you know. You know how it goes, you know. Still not good enough, mate. Really? That's more.
G'day, Sid. How are you?
How you going, Sid? Just using my sophisticated camera adjustment. So,
I heard that. The camera alignment system.
yeah, that's it.
Yeah, when you get a second, put the information in the chat about being able to connect with the site. I think I'm just back talking and he's having trouble trying to pull it up. But if I'm giving him your web address so he can go there and it'll be right there.
or Dr. Bob.
Yes.
I'll put it in the chat, the link, and he can go to the page Live AU on Facebook and click on it. It'll be in the chat.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say.
Okay.
And Sid says he'll duck in shortly.
All right.
Your Facebook page is the same as your website?
Yeah, here. No, I'll put it in the chat, Dr. Bob. There you go. I've done it.
G'day, Chris. How are you?
How you going, Chris? I just put it in the chat. It's Live AU. The tag for it is Live AU 2020.
Okay.
Oh, I'm back in full screen now, so you just have to let me know.
Sid's coming in.
What was that?
Sid's in the backstage, I'd say.
Oh, yeah, who's that?
G'day, Shay. How are you? G'day, Martin.
Hey, Martin.
Welcome to the Australian circus.
How you going, Martin?
And Eva's in the chat.
G'day, Eva. G'day, Shay.
How you going, Sid?
Yeah, good, mate. Can't stay long. Got a meeting after lunch, but just got back to the office again. Might as well have a bit of light entertainment while I'm having lunch.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true.
How you going, Shay? Right, I'm going to go back on mute.
Whereabouts are you from, Martin?
I'm in the UK.
Oh.
Over in England, so it's 2:30 in the morning here, but
Got another pommy.
Yeah. I was told all about you, and I thought I'd come and have a look and see what you're doing. And I haven't used StreamYard.
Yeah.
So that was also an interest to me.
Unless it was all good, none of it's true.
It was it was definitely all good. Yeah, it was
I'm glad you made it. Got a couple others that have asked, and I'm trying to get them to figure out how to get in other than on their cell phone. They needed to use their PC.
As you can see, I've dropped onto my PC in the workshop. I get the notification on my phone, but I've come down to the workshop. Well, I hadn't actually left the workshop, but I put it onto the PC. I wasn't on Facebook on the PC, but I've put it on now.
Oh, yeah.
It's definitely a better way to view it.
Oh, definitely. At least you can see how ugly we are.
What are you doing in your workshop at 2:30 in the morning?
I'm regularly in my workshop at 3:30 in the morning. Often I'm a lot better at night. My head's with it from about 7 o'clock at night till about 3 a.m. in the morning. But But tomorrow morning, nothing gets done until about lunchtime.
Yeah.
But I know many other turners are the same. You know, lots of the guys, they're better off. They're, I suppose, especially the artistic type turners, they're more artistic on an evening than they are first thing in the morning.
That's probably because I've had a few beers or something.
That's right.
And Eva says that you've got a nice shop there, Martin.
Thank you very much, Eva.
Oh, Paul's backstage. Kennedy.
Where's Paul
He's
still?
coming back.
Paul's still awake.
He must be a glutton for punishment. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
He's come back.
Morning or afternoon, whichever.
Evening.
Or evening.
How you going?
Yeah. Good afternoon. It is in Australia.
Yeah, afternoon here.
It is 1:34 in Victoria, and it'll be 1 o'clock in South Australia, or 1:04 actually.
You got a camera on, Paul? It's not showing up.
Oh, hang on. Let me just check.
When you get a chance, Jay, can you put a link in the chat so they can join us?
It was working. Just not now. Hang on a minute. Stop that cam there and I'll see if I can get it restarted.
Jay, just make sure you keep the handle level, all right? You tend to drop it as you're bringing it out a little bit. When you're doing that, that's a recipe for disaster. Yeah, how's the toothache going there, Eva?
Where is Eva located?
Stockholm.
Okay, I forgot the city.
Oh, sorry, Eva. I didn't mean to pry into your mouth. It's starting to spread. And what sort of work do you do, Martin?
Most of what I turn, well, some people would call me a production turner, but I don't like to count myself as a production turner because what I do make, I kind of, I sort of design it myself and then I make a lot of it if the market wants it, kind of thing.
Yep.
So it's still doing what I want to do, but doing a lot of what I want to do rather than a lot of what somebody else wants me to do.
Oh, right. Yeah, well, I'm the other way. I'm actually a production turner. I turn legs and lamps and veranda posts.
I've got one customer that sends me, I don't know, maybe 200 spindles a year, in quantities of maybe 10 here or 7 or 5s or 20 of them, and predominantly they're legs for trolleys or handles for trolleys. That is the only what I would call outside job that I do, whereas a customer wants me to make something for him.
Right.
Everything else that I make for myself, because yes, it's what sells, but it's also something that I want to make rather than somebody else telling me what to make, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So yes, some would say I'm a production turner, but I don't like to count myself as a production turner.
Right.
It's
Look,
trying to find that balance.
it sounds like you've done your marketing properly. Nothing worse than making something that doesn't sell, that's for sure.
And I get it wrong sometimes.
Oh, we all do that.
I do get it wrong sometimes. I'll make something, I'll put it to market, they will not buy it, or it'll be too expensive, and I just don't make any more of them. You know, I might make 8 or 10 of them. I might manage to sell 8 or 10 of them, but no, I can't live on 8 or 10.
Do you also find in England, as we do in Australia, like you go to one town and XYZ product will sell, and you won't sell any of ABC, but you go to the next town and no XYZ sells, but ABCs walk out the door.
I've always said this: if we could predict what somebody was going to buy, we'd all be very wealthy because we'd only make that one item.
That's right.
And yes, you go to different towns and different things do sell. I try to stick with 5 or 6 products. So I've got 5 or 6 on the go, and when something stops selling, then I kind of ditch that, come up with a new idea and add another product in. What I have discovered over the five or so years that I've been doing this professionally, things sell at times of the year. So not only does it matter what town you're in, it matters what time of the year it is as to what product sells better.
Oh, definitely.
I am lucky enough where I can kind of say to myself, well, I'm going to need a lot of them at this particular event. I'm also lucky because I very much concentrated when I was going to shows regularly, pretty much every week. I was finding it very disheartening because items weren't selling, but yet they were selling online for me. So I pushed a lot of my marketing towards online, and that helped me. As I've built a customer base over the 3 or 4 years pushing the online, you tend to build your own customers up, and a lot of them are repeat. You often find that a customer that buys my kind of item will constantly buy my kind of items.
Yeah.
You know, the craft customer is a craft customer. She will buy quality or craft items from craft markets, from online craft sellers, and they keep coming back to you. And I've managed to build up quite a good customer base over the period of time doing what I'm doing.
Yeah, well, that's the way to do it. Like, I must admit, I'm semi-retired these days. I'm 70 years old, so I've had my day as far as I do what I want to do for whom I want to do, when I want to do it, how I want to do it, if I want to do it, and for how much I do it. So that suits me fine.
Well, that is definitely the best way to be.
But I've never really got into online selling or anything like that.
There's not many do.
And Bob's put in that Paul's rebooting his computer, so he may be coming in a minute, Jay. And Eva said, with spalted wood, nothing is wrong. No, Eva, sometimes people don't like spalted wood either.
Yes, some are allergic to it. I mean, that could be a serious allergy problem. You got to really seal it.
No, well, Shay, I might act like I'm 55 sometimes. My wife thinks that I act like I'm a 16-year-old, but the body tells me, it soon reminds me how old I actually am, I tell you. Good afternoon, Joaquin. Good to see you back. You on your computer now, are you?
Yeah, I couldn't figure out how to get on the computer. I tried all kind of things to get it loaded over there, but I don't know. And so maybe I'll figure out something.
One of those things.
You don't have Facebook
How
on
are
your
y'all
computer?
doing? And where are you from, sir?
Sorry.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, you got a bit of an echo behind you there, Walkeen.
Oh, he wanted to know, Robo, where you're from.
Well, I'm from Victoria in Australia. Jay's from South Australia. Sid, who's on the space above you, he's from South Australia as well.
I tried to get on the computer. I'm back on the phone, and
Yeah, no, that's fine. That's better when you move up closer. And Martin is from England or UK or Britain, if you like. Never met a country with so many different connotations.
I'm
Yeah, and Paul said he had to reboot his system to get the camera to load in.
Yeah.
I'm just going to go and get another bit of coffee.
uh,
I'll be back in a moment.
it's breaking
Well,
up.
we'll be
I
here.
haven't got a very good.
Yeah. What you got to remember?
Yeah.
What you got to remember with this, Walkeen, is that it's like the old-fashioned radio systems where you had to press the button to talk or let other people stop talking before you start talking. Otherwise, the whole system goes up the spout. Can't all talk at once.
Oh, do you have Facebook on your computer with Messenger?
Okay.
Paul,
G'day, Sarge. And Justin's there as well. Geez, we might have a screen full.
I'm not hearing very well. Breaking up a lot.
Hey, Sarge, Justin, how you going? Well, Keen, Robbo's right. He said you got to wait for a gap, but with Dr. Bob in here, often you can't get a gap. He just talks all the time.
Yes.
Howdy, y'all.
Ah,
Hey, going,
Hey, Paul.
good afternoon, Paul. How are you?
Good, thanks.
How you going, Paul?
Made it back again. I don't know what was going on earlier, but the camera wasn't working, so restarted it all.
And Sarge?
Martin went for coffee.
Okay.
Howdy.
Yeah, I must admit, I'm not going for coffee. That's terrible stuff, but I'm going to go and get a cup of tea in a minute.
Oh, you got no taste.
That's what I say about coffee drinkers.
There's so many.
Make sure you keep that finger up.
Oh, I do. Definitely.
No kids awake tonight, cat. They done fell asleep. Oh, that cat. That kid.
Just lift your handle a little bit, Jay. No, lift it, not drop it.
Well, Sarge, what have you been up to today?
Digging holes and putting anchors in them. And then we had to hand dig a hole around a bunch of fiber and underground service and all sorts of fun stuff, or at least the rest of the guys did. And then when I got back, we went and finished digging the hole with the auger and set the pole in there.
No, that groove isn't very deep, Justin. So what you're seeing, I think, is just a light spot in where the light's bouncing off the inside of the timber.
Oh, right above the tool rest, probably.
Yeah.
Kitty, kitty.
Nope, didn't cut the cable.
What was going on?
Thank goodness I didn't cut the cable. That fiber is expensive.
Justin was worried about how thin is that accent groove. On video, it almost looks like I can see the shed wall through it. And what he's seeing is the shavings or whatever at the top there. And Eva's talking about a cat that she had. Unfortunately, only lived for 4 years because he had kidney problems. And Sarge was saying that he had to dig a big hole to put a cable in, and Eva said, "Did you cut the cable?" So.
Well, you meant to use toilet paper, aren't you? Bloody hell. Got a cable that big. Wow.
No, I had to dig the hole next to the cable and set the power pole in next to it without cutting the cable.
Bloody hell, man.
Well, that's always a wise move, actually, Sarge, not cutting the cable.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Tends
so far,
to line
the
up
only thing I've ever cut is a phone line, and it ended up being an abandoned line anyways.
Oh, when the phone company, when we moved into this house 30 years or so ago, they had the phone line draped across our front yard because they were too lazy to put it down into the pits. So I asked them to fix it up, and they said, "Oh yeah." So they added 20 feet in so that I could move it across the lawn to cut around it. You know, I still cut it anyway. Problem was, I didn't know that it put out 5,000 phones down all over South Gippsland, which is like a state or a province or a county here. Right. And yeah, they got very annoyed about it. I had to cut it 3 times before they finally fixed it properly.
Yep, it either needs to go overhead or deep underground.
No, well, most of our phone lines are underground in Australia.
Yeah.
Hey, Robo.
Yo.
Oh, Paul had a comment. That's an interesting one. Let him have a chance to talk. He had a question. I think it's a good idea.
What was that?
Oh, that you texted me about the website.
Yeah, I was asking, does the group have a website?
Sorry, Paul. What? Sorry, Paul. What was that?
I was just asking if you've got a website for the group that meets on here.
Me, I haven't got a website, but I've got. I sort of have on Facebook, but I don't sort of look at it much. But I've got 2 YouTube channels. Don't ask me why. YouTube stuffed it up. But anyway, I've got one. Sid might do the honours and put them in because I'm not on YouTube at the moment, and I can't fit them in. Jimmy, did you Sid?
He's still got a mic muted.
Yeah, no, that's all right. He's giving me the thumbs up. He heard me.
Oh.
At least he didn't put the thumbs down to say, no, get nicked.
He's still working?
Yeah, he's on lunch break.
Oh, that's in his office.
Yeah.
What does he do for a living?
I'm doing it tough today.
Oh, right. Sorry, who spoke?
I was asking what Sid does for a living. I don't think I've heard.
I'll let him explain.
Oh well, that's it's a secret, Dr. Bob, because if anybody else found out what I did for a living, they'd all want to do it.
Yeah, that's because he does nothing.
I am an authorised officer, pest, plant and animal control in the Limestone Coast region of South Australia, which means over here we have what they call declared weeds, which landholders are obligated to control and not let spread. And my job is to drive around, talk to landholders, look for the weeds and get them to control them, or if they don't, undertake compliance activities and do it and charge them for it. It's a tough job, driving around all the time, talking to people. It's terrible.
Paul had a good question, and I wonder, we don't have a website, and he was asking if we did. Problem
I'm
is,
going to
I
have
don't
to
know.
go now because my meeting's turning up, so I'll catch all you guys later.
All right, see you later, Sid. Thank you.
See you, Sid.
But that would be an interesting idea, though I haven't put a website together in, a good 15 years for anything. I used to, but without a computer, just a tablet or a phone, it's not that easy, but it'd be interesting. But Jay's Facebook page is probably the best place because he's the one that hosts the whole program. So, Sarge, did you do any scrolling today?
Oh no. By the time I got home, I ate and then had some bills to take care of online, and then getting ready for bed here in a minute.
Have you? I don't remember. Were you on last time? Paul was on with us.
I don't recall if I was on with Paul or who else I was on with.
I just wonder if you take a minute to introduce yourself to him.
No.
Because Paul is a wood turner, internationally known out of Europe. And you're familiar with the AAW.
Right.
He's like the president of the European version of us.
Huh.
Just the British version. The other countries have got their own.
Well, I'm not a turner yet. I'm a flatwood worker, but mostly I do scroll sawing is what I specialize in, I guess, or like to do the most. So, but I'm on Facebook. Sergeant Shoots Wood Creations. You can see some of the stuff I've done, and I enjoy coming in here and learning the different crafts.
You've all got Sarge. You can add links if you want.
Yeah, I forgot. I'm about half dead tonight.
Robo can too.
Boy, that heat pump we got cooking tonight.
Yeah, it's interesting that the people that get together and just watch and talk and chat about what goes on.
Yep.
And we've got a following that will join, and but they usually follow what's going on in the chat. So they are active in it, and occasionally they come up too, because one of the things that Jay does is put the hyperlink in the chat. So if you hit the chat, Facebook or YouTube, you can come up and talk to us in person. It's open to anybody.
Well, I'm back in the show, Robert, for the fourth time, and I got you on the computer. And what is you're saying about chatting on Facebook?
We're talking. Paul brought up the fact that whether we had a Facebook page or not Facebook, but a website, and we don't. And really, this is our guest is Jay every night, 7 nights a week. So he has a Facebook page, and we can put posts on there. But Woodturners, he posts on that all the time. So I don't think we have a home place that we ever all together on and chat, other than live at night.
Yeah, okay.
And the one nice is that whenever you're on, whenever he's on, you can always go to the chat there and find a hyperlink to join.
Okay.
In the chat.
And that's on the Facebook page.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. I didn't see it a while ago. I was looking for it.
It's under, well, Facebook, well, when he gets back, he can tell him what his is, but the broadcast on Facebook is Facebook Live AU 2020.
Okay.
Is what he broadcasts on Facebook.
Okay.
But he has the YouTube one also.
All right, just I'll catch up on the chat a bit. Justin says that his new laser's on the way, and I'll be able to buy designs from Charles and laser etch them, even laser cut them. And Shay said she comes in on non-work nights. We can tell when you're slacking off now then, Shay. And Eva says I've got new wood cutting tools coming tomorrow, small tools for small work on flat wood. I would call it wood carving by hand tools. Effie's just come in.
Hello, Effie.
Rightio, we're up to there. And Jay, when you get a minute, can you put the link to my YouTube channels on, please? Because I'm stuffed if I know how to do it.
I can work on that, Jay.
All right, thanks, Sarge.
Yep.
Hey, how you going, Effie?
Robo, you might explain or introduce our followers that follow us on Facebook and right now on our chat, and where they're from, because they're regulars and often join us so they can sit and talk in person.
Oh, well, basically it's just a group of us getting together, telling lies and bullshit to each other and having a good time and hanging it on one another. And generally Jay tries to keep working amongst it and just ignoring us all, so that suits him a little bit. Occasionally one of the other ones is working away as well.
Yeah, you're perfectly welcome to be at your lathe, working in your own shop.
So I could just sit here and pretend to be working.
And that's the neat thing about technology.
Yeah.
You can be sitting back in a lounge chair and no one would know the difference.
Yes, it is.
Oh, he's quick at changing chucks. Look at that. I have
Yeah.
to get my watch out. You got a record going there. I thought Robo was quick.
Yeah, that video speeded up just a little.
Just a little. Did you get your platform made for your one-way headstock?
All right. See you later. See you later, Eva. You sleep well. I hope you get that tooth fixed soon.
Look at him go.
Yeah, my head would fall off the shoulders if I spun around that quick. Yes, please, Eva.
Using that hook tool, Paul?
That's a ring tool, yeah.
I've got one. I got a ring tool on as a tip for my deep hollowing system, so I can use it up to 24 inches, and I find it really handy. But
Wow,
you got to
that
be
is.
careful with it. When you can't see where you're going, you just feel it. Then you
Thanks,
get into-
Eva.
I turn that fast, I could make a whole lot more money. I do, maybe.
Me too.
Well, it takes that kind of speed.
But I could have a bigger inventory anyway. Whether
That's
it's selling
called
or not.
speed turning.
Geez, I tell you what, seeing all this turning, I'm starting to get itchy feet and get out in the workshop again, but I'll fight the urge.
Yeah.
Well, too bad we haven't invented teleporters. You could put a piece of stock on your 40-foot bed lathe. I can't believe it. 40-foot bed lathe. And each of us take a tool and a separate part of the piece of wood and see what we make out of it.
Oh, we've actually done that. We had 4 clubs here, and we made a totem pole
Oh, how neat.
that went up in a park.
I don't know what happened. All of a sudden, I lost everything. Hear me now?
Let's see.
And this was one of your demos, Paul?
Yeah. Yeah, it's one I did last year sometime, but I edited the video and sort of condensed it and speeded it up a little as well.
Yes, Eva, you may leave, and thank you very much.
Good night, Eva. Cat.
You think you can go to a club now and put this on and have a cup of tea and bill them for a full demo?
Could do,
Yeah.
Well,
Oh,
one of the-
a man that uses the right tools, real tools. Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
Oh man, you got the wrong tools. You don't have the carbides in there. Love you too, Robo.
You know, Paul, what would be interesting is to, and I'm thinking from an educator's point of view,
Yeah.
is to do a turning like this, but make some mistakes, but cover them up so as, you know, like an improper use of a tool and it causes a problem and then you got to fix it. and then
Yeah.
play the whole thing back at higher speed and see how many people catch the number of mistakes.
Yeah.
Well, do like Theo and do push-ups. Every mistake they catch, you got to do a push-up for it. I don't think I'd go there.
Just to explain to you, Chris, what real tools are, they're the traditional tools. They're gouges and skew chisels. Oh, you're getting fancy there, Paul, putting a spiral up the stem now.
Yeah.
I had never thought of doing it with a file like that.
Yeah, it's very easy to do, actually. All I've got there is 3 round files. You start off with like a 6-inch, very coarse one, and then you go to an 8-inch, also a coarse one, and then an 8-inch fine one, and then from there on, I take over doing it with sort of the basic cloth to smooth it all out.
I'm going to have to try that next couple of days.
Yeah, give it a go. All you need is 2 or 3 files. But I remember once I went to do this at a club demo, and I turned up at the club and I'd forgotten the files. I got everything else, all my tools to make the goblet, but I forgot the files. So what I did was I improvised. I just had a piece of dowel with some 120 grit on it and used that instead of a file. So you can even do it without files if you really want to. It's not the quickest way of doing it, I'll tell you now, but it can be done.
I think that's great because that one nice thing, this is something that even our host could try, because often because one of the things that Jay doesn't have is a lot of tools. Can't afford them.
Yeah.
And this is something that anybody can do.
Yeah.
And hasn't he turned a goblet?
Yep.
Voila.
All right.
That come up nice.
Be on it.
Mm-hmm.
There, it's something for you to make next week. Or this week.
Yeah, that's on
Go on then, Doc.
YouTube as well. If anyone wants to see it, slow motion. There's the whole slow version is on YouTube. You just search for me on YouTube, you'll find it.
Yes, look very nice. Didn't even think about doing stuff with a file like that.
Yeah, cheap carving tool.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm.
Here you go, Paul. I just subscribed to your channel.
Okay.
That was Sarge.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was me.
I was just having a little bit of a break because it's like the Aussies and English will get this, but the Americans maybe not so much. It's like having the a cricket ball hit the cricket bat and jar the bat. It's constantly like that at the moment on the end of the tool, so I gotta have a break every now and then.
I'll describe it for the Americans. It's like hitting a baseball at the end of the bat, not on the sweet spot, and it jars the bat in your hands.
Right.
Oh, okay. Nice to have a translator.
Oh, I used to coach junior softball at one time, so I know what it's like.
Come on in, Shay. The water's nice and hot.
Yeah.
They've been boiling me for a while. I need another flat worker in here.
We haven't started on you yet.
I know.
You should have heard him the other day, Robbo. He was flinging them off left, right, and centre, the cheeky bugger.
That's what's cool about this live here, is that it doesn't matter what we do. We can talk about all sorts of stuff.
Chris, just
Paul, if you don't mind, I'll put your link in the comments.
Yeah, please do.
All right.
Oh no, that could be interesting, Shay. Shay says she don't want me coming in. I'm in the bath.
Oh, in Australia, that's where you'd be coming into. It's probably could be legal down there.
I'll go back to Chris for a minute. He just got a set of carbides. Okay. But I love my bowl gouge and no sharpening systems. Well, how do you keep a bowl gouge unless you do it by hand? But the real tools I was talking about was a skew chisel and a gouge. They're real tools in my opinion. And spindle turning is real turning.
That's right.
Shay, Justin's just put in. Oh, Justin and Sarge just put it in.
And you have a new sub, Paul. Shay has just subbed you.
Okay. There's not a lot in there yet, but I'm working on it.
That's what it's all about. But Chris is practice with the skew chisel.
Yeah.
I guess that'd be like us trying to use a spiral cut blade instead of a flat blade.
Yeah, but the secret first off is to get somebody that knows how to use it to show you. It actually annoys me, the AAW in a lot of cases. I'm a member of the AAW as well. And none of their training programs showed anything about using the skew chisel.
Yeah. Yeah, we're the AWGB in the UK. We're just doing some trial videos. We're only doing 3 at the moment, but we may expand that depending on how the trial goes. But what we've done is got 3 professional turners to do a short video on one tool. We've got one doing a roughing gauge, one doing a spindle gauge, and I think the third one is a beading and parting tool. And if those pan out, then we'll get more videos done. Again, each one will be a sort of a short session on one tool, a sort of bit of a tutorial on how to use it and the pitfalls, etc.
Yeah, that's a good idea, actually.
Yeah, I mean, we've, as I said, we've literally just in the process of getting the videos done and edited, so those will be going online hopefully in the next few weeks. And if those pan out, then I think we'll be doing more. Yeah, I'll keep you posted on that one anyway.
Yeah, we got a turner, Jack Morris, out of Georgia, and he starts his students out with a stew. He won't let them go to another tool till they accomplish working with a stew, riding the bevel and all that.
Yeah.
People come out pretty talented.
Well, that's cool.
Right. Just excuse me a minute. Martin Clarkson said, sorry, he's got to go. He'll join you soon. Later, the mic has stopped working. He'll join another night.
All right.
One of those nights. I was having trouble with my video earlier.
Well, thanks for coming in anyway, Martin. Welcome to join whenever you like again.
Oh, don't get me started. Chris has put in there, it irritates me that YouTube videos that get all the views, the carbides and cheap wood, fast turning and satisfying videos win over complicated and technical. God, well, yeah, my pet hate. I'm not gonna say names, but them with the most numbers of subscribers are the ones that can't flame and will turn.
Yeah. I know what you're saying.
Being the old fart in the group, when I was learning to turn from my grandfather, skews hadn't been invented yet. Well, we had them, but the angle you had to be on and how you used it, each turner had a specific way of doing it.
Yeah.
And because that's all there was. I even had a friend of my grandfather had an axe, axe blade, big curved ones.
Yeah.
And he was using that on the lathe for doing his work, and that was his favorite tool. You know, it wasn't a standard. You made your own tools. And you talk about a gouge, you know, they had them, but they were from Ireland, and they were a protected secret.
Yeah.
That's what I was taught. They learned that in their Masonic school that they went to, because their family were fathers were Masons, and there was no public school or private. However, I get them reversed there. You're in England, but there just wasn't a school. You had to pay to go to a school, so you worked as an apprentice in order to read and write. And the school was woodworking, and you worked as an apprentice, doing all the dirty work.
Yeah.
Now it's the bosses that do all the dirty work. No, I must admit, I get a bit aggro over certain YouTube ones.
Yeah, there's a lot of that, but there are some good ones out there as well.
Oh, there's some excellent ones out there, but yeah, unfortunately, the bad ones seem to get all the attention, and oh, that's fantastic. Me, I just shut up. I don't say anything.
Well, it's an artwork we're talking about, and whether I use this paint or that paint, or I prefer this make a brush, because when you start getting sponsored, you use what your sponsor pays for. We know that. That's just common marketing, and it's leaked its way into our trade on YouTube. I'm not saying the products are bad. It's a good way of getting a product name about. But most of the stuff that's advertised that all come out of Europe, they're really expensive here. And some of them, there's been problems with because of what's in them isn't allowed in a paint that a kid can chew on without the proper labeling, so they can't get in the country unless you buy yourself direct and get it. Yeah. But they can't get them for a store, and there's those problems. You know, they'll be worked out in time. But YouTube during the shut-in that everyone's had due to COVID, and I think it's the only positive thing of COVID, is the fact that we get to know each other, and we're using technology right here that our teenage kids and grandkids have been using for a good 10 years. And we never could figure how to do it.
I'm still trying to figure out how to do it.
I kind of envy these people who are working from home. You know that? I would have really enjoyed working from home.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing, yeah.
Of course, I was a maintenance planner. I wouldn't be able to check out the job to do the work at home, but
yeah. Well, the interesting thing about my brother is a IT guru, you could say. He's been headhunted all around the world. He works for a company now And for 10 years, there's 40 of them in this particular office complex. For 40 years, for 10 years, I've been trying to tell my boss that they could easily work at home and probably be more productive. And the boss has always knocked it back because I like to have control of them all, you see.
Yep.
And COVID forced them to start working from home. Well, the bosses found out that they were being more productive at home because if you felt like working at 2 o'clock in the morning, you did it.
Yeah.
And the hours suited them, particularly those with kids. And what they've done now is that they're actually selling their office complex because they found out that it's far more efficient to work from home and just have a fortnightly meeting when they all come together where they can hire a conference room for that for 1/10 the price of having running office space.
Yeah.
So it's been a rather interesting exercise for a lot of people here, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Same in this country as well. Yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Shay says she agrees with COVID. She wouldn't be able to do her scrolling.
Yeah, you can see how far you've come in such a short time too, just by watching YouTubes and things like that. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
And Justin says, as opposed to, I preferred when everyone was working from home too. Only he couldn't work from home. Well, there was a bit of a joke in Australia a little while ago about the postal service working from home. They'd open your letters for you, and then if it was a bill or something, they'd ring you up and tell you had to pay it.
Good way of getting rid of junk mail.
Yeah.
Well, I can't work from home because otherwise you guys wouldn't be able to be here.
No, well, that's right. As I've said on previous occasions, my favourite thing about that was people sitting on an aircraft and it comes over the speaker. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is your pilot speaking. I'm working from home at the moment.
Yeah, wouldn't be surprised if something like that doesn't happen, though.
Well,
Flying big drones.
Well, I like watching aircraft investigations or Mayday or whatever they call it, wherever you happen to be. And there was an interesting program a little while ago that most of the planes now can actually be landed from the ground if they have to, bringing them in on ILS systems and things like that. They can control the planes from the tower.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, most of them land themselves on a pilot, but every now and again they make the pilot land the plane just so he keeps it practice up.
Well, that's right. And if anything odd happens in a lot of cases, the pilots don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, they have to depend on the computer to find out what's wrong, and then they have to figure out what that means and how to do it. So it's safer to have the computer do it.
Yeah.
But
And
driving a car is going to be that way for, our grandkids are going to wonder, you really use the steering wheel? Or our great grandkids, because they won't know what it is.
Well, that's right.
That's on the wayside. The autonomous car is going to take over. It's much safer.
Yeah.
Well, we're in the age group here now where probably most of us had a 3 on the tree as far as gear changes and that went.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did the first time I got a chance to use one, and I was in Okinawa. So it was 3 on the tree, but it was on the left side instead of the right side.
Yeah,
as far as the column goes, and then I was sitting on the right side of the car.
Well, you were driving a real car, in other words.
Right, yeah, right.
That's the way they are in Australia.
I know it. I drove them too. Just not 3 on the tree. I think it was 4 on the floor.
Yeah.
Oh, but I had to do that while I was in Nam for a couple of weeks as a TDY program, temporary duty. And that was so hard, shifting a 4-speed, but with my left hand.
Yeah. Chris from Barley Woodworks has said, I just started wood turning in May. Well, you're going pretty well then, Chris. And Justin said, "Yep, heaven help you if you miss the timing on a 3-speed, no synchro on first back then."
Yeah.
And yeah, and Effie fifth under the seat. I know. I used to like reverse the best because you could play with the passenger's knee if it was good looking.
Well, there was a couple of T-shirts made up of designs. One was for big trucks and semis. And the other was for like dump trucks or mixer trucks. And it says, I put more miles in reverse than you put going forward."
Yeah.
True.
I think one of the things that is coming up, and it's supposed to be this year, there in Australia, is the solar car competition. It's been going on for a long time in Australia, because I remember when I was working at the University of Michigan here in Ann Arbor, they were preparing for the very first solar car. But it wasn't in Australia, it was in Texas. And it was interesting how something like that is going on. And now I hear from friends who have kids that have been working automotive design, and because I've got a lot of relatives and close friends in Ford Motor Company in engineering, because I've taught them wood turning. Because they had a unit called a tech shop that I was an instructor in, and they could just come and learn any of skills they'd love to. And the person who was in charge of autonomous vehicles was one of my better students. And I had a ball, with him. And then he offers to take me out to lunch one day. And okay, we step out in the front of the building. He gets his car out and he's going to figure, where'd I park? He hit the little button on the car and the lights come on, it beeped, and it drove automatically up to the door to pick us up. And it blew my mind that the car could do that. Then we get in, and it's like, well, I can't have you drive, but you can drive home. And we're talking about where we want to go for lunch, and we picked, being Dearborn, there's some excellent Arab restaurants there, authentic, and wanted to go and have a decent lunch. He just given a name, voice recognition. Wasn't perfect. It had to ask a couple of times to make sure it got the right restaurant, and it drove us there. It stopped at all the traffic lights. It stopped at a stop signs and waited for cars, and it took us in, and it was a stock car off of the assembly line, because they make like 50 of a model, to test things. For instance, the different engines and different but the bodies all look the same.
Yeah.
And they drive around here all the time. And you wonder, is that going to be next year's car? No, it's just one of their test cars. It's a designer's idea, and they said, okay, we'll make those many bodies, but the frame and everything is. And it's interesting because it pulled into the restaurant and backed us into a parking spot. And when we got back in, he says, "You want to take the keys and drive home back to the tech shop?" And it was fun. You simply get in, the chair swiveled in the driver's position from the door. And I said, "Well, how do I do it?" "You got to start the car and you push the button and answer the question. Do you want to return to the starting point? Yes or no?" "Yes." And off we went. The wheels turning, and and you can see the lights on the dash saying that the brake is being applied and how much with a little scale, because these are techie engineers. And I said, "Well, what if there's a pedestrian and it doesn't see it?" "Well, your brake still works, doesn't it?" "What if I have to steer around something?" "Just grab the wheel and steer around. You take control the moment you touch the wheel and turn it, or you hit any of the pedals." But that was 5 years ago.
Yeah.
But Ford and General Motors now, another company, auto company, and about 4 or 5 automation companies have gone in and they're building a test road that is going to go from the Ford factory here, or the Ford Center at the museum, Henry Ford Museum, and the road's just going to be 2 lanes, all the bridges. They're buying the land and they're putting it in. And in some places, it's going to go down the middle of I-94 freeway because they got a big wide center in it. And it's going to go to a test city that's being built at University of Michigan in Ann Arbor, and where it has buildings and all sorts of stuff that they can test the cars in. There's going to be 3 of them in the world built, and this is going to be one of them. And that's supposed to be in within 10 years complete, because that's where it's going, is total automation. It's safer. Makes it bad for bank robbers.
One hopes that it'll be safer anyway.
Yeah.
Well, you got to get the bugs out of it somehow. But New Zealand does a lot of testing, according to my friend at Ford. They have automated car projects. They're being done very quietly, is what he puts it.
Yeah.
It's the same. It's the same in Australia. There's a lot of testing going on with it too, that we don't hear about or see about. And yeah, that solar run that goes from Alice Springs to Adelaide, and I think it happens every 2 or 3 years. I don't think it's every year, but they've discovered a lot of things from that too, about lightweight bodies and things like that. I think anything to do with automotive, things like car racing or anything, has a flow-on effect down onto the normal passenger vehicle. So,
well, you have automated trucks in the mining industry.
oh yes, yeah, they're nothing new.
I'd never seen them until I watched the Discovery Channel in the Australian version, which now is on YouTube.
Yeah, that's right. And as I've said before, we've got trains that travel 500 or 600 kilometres of bringing in iron ore from the middle of Australia to the coast, and they're all automated. They don't need to have a driver or a guard on them, but they do generally have a guard on them just to make sure that everything goes right.
But when I look at the English road system, from a lot of the TV programs that I like watching, the British, one of my favorite to watch, some of the programs that you have in housing and all sorts of stuff. But the roads look like a mess, and they don't seem like they're wide enough for 2 cars to even pass in some of the smaller communities without driving on the grass.
Yeah, it's a bit.
Well, they were made for horse and cart. That's why.
That's very true. Yeah, and there's a road where I used to work many years ago, and it was a little windy lane that used to sort of. It was down by the coast down in Cornwall, and this little lane. It was 7 miles from where I lived to where I worked, and it was down this road, and there were many places along that road where 2 cars couldn't pass. So you got passing places so you could pull in and let somebody come the other way. And we had a couple of guys from the States working there for a while, and there's just one. He'd come in driving the same way as everybody else, but when he left, he went home a different route. And after we'd been doing that for about 2 weeks, somebody asked him why he was doing it, and he said, "Oh, I thought it was one way. The road was that narrow. He thought it was a one way." he didn't drive back the same way.
Right, just to go back to the chat for a minute, Justin says the best thing about full automation is that attitude doesn't enter into it when merging and changing lanes. Yeah, it'd probably get rid of a lot of road rage. And Effie, now, for those that don't know, Effie's looking for a man, all right? We used to test out the back seats And Justin said, "Don't get me started on English roads." But there is a road, or there was a road in Australia. It was 120 miles long, so just on about 180 kilometres,
Yeah.
and that used to be one way for certain hours of the day, and one way the other way for certain hours of the day, and it was a minor highway between two places. So if you didn't hit it at the right time, you had to wait 4 hours before you could go down it, and it used to be a pain, Like the coppers used to sit at each end of it, booking people and spent to try and get in there in time,
Yeah.
But they've since widened that one out.
So I got to go, guys. I got a couple of things to finish in the shop before I go to bed, and appreciate the invite. And y'all do this how often, or?
We do
7 days a week.
Joaquin, we do it every day.
Yeah.
The times vary occasionally, but it's generally round about this time most times.
Okay.
And I'll get Jay on in a minute, but thank you for coming in. It's been a pleasure.
Well, thanks for the invite. Thank you, Robert. Y'all take care, and see you down the road.
Yeah,
Well,
thank
come
you.
join us again.
Yeah, you're welcome back anytime.
Thank you very much, sir.
Cheers, Wilkie.
Yeah, I'm just going to make myself a cup of tea, Jay.
All right. I'll look
shove
after you,
off.
right? Thanks.
Head to bed.
Me? No, are you leaving, are you, Sarge?
I am.
Yeah. All right, good night. Sleep well.
I'll catch you before you take off and make your tea.
Thanks
Bye.
for coming in, Sarge.
Yep. See you all tomorrow or so.
Take it easy. Quick, talk about him. He hasn't got his headphones on. Quick, before he comes back. And we'll tell him we talked about him, and then he'll go back and watch it later. Bit of a shit stir.
Well, I want to get him to do another shop tour. I think
If he was,
Paul would
if he
like to see it. I don't know
Yeah.
how many plays did he say he has? I thought it was like 10.
I think it's about 16.
Oh, yeah, wood lays.
Yeah, and he's got a
He's
metal
also
one.
got-
Too.
Yeah. You could hold a heck of a club meeting there. Just pick a lathe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, every now and then, I think he has a well, before COVID anyway, he used to have a all the clubs from around Melbourne would all come to his workshop for the weekend, and they'd all. I'm not too sure how many lathes he'd get out, but he does get a couple of lathes out and let people have a turn on Henry, the 40-foot lathe.
Yeah, I keep meaning to ask the horsepower he has for that lathe. It has to be pretty good because he told me once he got it because he was doing masts for ships.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a ship. There's a ship in the. It's called the Yarra River in Melbourne, and he did the masts for that.
Now that to me is a wood turner.
Yeah.
My grandparents and uncle, the biggest they had was, I think, 12 foot, and that was it. But that was to make the pillars in the Masonic Lodge. They had to turn them. They weren't hollow; they were solid. And that's what he was brought up to do: is to do stuff for lodges and build the sacred rooms and the buildings and all the fancy molding. His brother got into that.
Yeah.
And then, but his brother became a trader, supposedly, because he started working when they came to the States. This was the era of flappers. and big shows, in theaters, live audience, and the big, 2,000 seat houses, the vaudeville days. And a lot of them become very fancy and ornate, and that's where my grandfather's uh, father and his brother went off from doing Masonic work in this country off to that. My grandfather, he stayed doing nothing but maintenance for the Masonic temples. That was his whole occupation, his whole life. That's what he's trained for there in Europe.
Yep. I put a link in for the boat. Yeah, I'm not sure we have to go to the YouTube chat or Facebook page. For StreamYard. I don't think StreamYard will let you click on it. So I can put it in the private chat if that makes it any easier. There you go. You can click on that one in the private chat. Oh, he's back now. You better stop talking about him quick.
Hello, somebody's been talking about me by the look of it.
I was waiting for him to notice it. Yeah, Dr. Bob's waiting for a shop tour of your shop.
Ah.
Well,
Yeah, I'll do that.
Have Paul be able to see you, because you've talked about it so much. I've seen your big lathe. You did that one day with a camera.
Yeah. Oh, I might do it one day. I actually have a video up of a workshop tour, but not as my workshop is a work in progress. Has been for 40 years. Because of the different sort of work we do over a period of time, I've got a forklift and there's only 2 fixed lathes in the whole place. So the rest of them I pick up, turn around. I bring machines in as I need them. So like I've got thicknesses and jointers and big drill presses and everything else. So depending on the job, I set up a production line sort of thing. So I just move machines where I need them. But Henry, it stays where it's put because it's bolted to the floor, and so does Reg. That's a big Wadkin RU.
How many horsepower motor for Henry?
3. 3 is plenty of 3 horsepower, but they are English Clydesdales. They're not bloody Taiwanese pit ponies. So, but no, 3 horsepower is sufficient for most of all the work we do anyway.
There's 220 3-phase or
no, they're
440.
No, they're 440 3-phase motors on those 2. But they used to be single phase until we got 3-phase on, so it's still 3 horsepower. It doesn't matter whether it's single phase or 3-phase.
Oh, I think I'm done for turning today.
Ah, well, at least you got it hollowed out.
Yeah.
And you did it with a skew.
No.
All of it.
No, just the end of it.
He did it with a carbide.
At the end he was using a skew.
Oh yeah, that's just to clean up the sides.
Yeah, I saw that to begin with, but I thought at the end of it you were using a skew.
Yeah, right at the end, yeah. Just to clean up the walls a bit.
Still the best chisel. Still the best chisel for cleaning up the side of a box. The inside of a box. unless you want to spend $60 and get a U-Butte box scraper. I get annoyed with tool manufacturers, Paul.
It's like what they say about fishermen, isn't it? All these coloured lures are meant to catch fishermen, not fish. I think the same applies to wood turning tools.
Oh, that's dead right. Yeah. Yeah, that used to be the old saying, wasn't it? They'd release a new rod every year that used to be U-Butte carbon fibre or what, this and that. And they were all designed to catch fishermen, not fish.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I've a friend that is a very keen fisherman. His favourite thing is the line wrapped around a handrail. And all these blokes line up along riverbanks and things, and they've got all the classy gear. He turns up with just this in his hand and throws it out, catches 3 or 4 fish, and then says, "Rightio, going home now."
Yep. Sometimes it's a
you have a challenge on the chat there, Robo.
Yeah. Justin says, "Show us some beads and coves with the skew, Jay." And then he says, "When you come over, Robbo will set you right, mate."
Justin, stop swearing at me.
No, I was going to say before, Paul, wait on. You were doing goblets, wait on. I'll show off a bit now.
Oh, here we go. Oh, no one likes to show off, but here we go. Sure, he's not grabbing his hair up underneath and flicking it like a diva in front of the camera, you know.
That one was done completely with a skew chisel.
Very nice.
As a bet.
Yeah.
That's 3 mil down the centre there.
Mm-hmm.
That's out of oak. I even did the hollowing with a skew chisel.
Yeah.
Admittedly, I cheated. I went to a 1/2 inch skew chisel. It was round on the front, but then another demo, I did that one again. Most of it with a skew chisel. That one's about 250 or about 10 inches long.
Yep.
And then I was trying out something just for the hell of it once. This one here is just on 20 inches long. So, and that was done with a skew and a gouge just for the heck of it.
Yep.
I used to love turning goblets, but everybody starts turning goblets and sort of, like I like the base you did on that with a little subtle OG in it. That was very nice.
Mm.
My favourite shape, that.
Yeah, I often do that on the bottom of the goblets, but last year I was commissioned to make a set of 12.
Yeah.
That took a bit of doing, making 12 the same.
Yes.
Yeah, it was interesting.
I had to do 2 ceremonial chalices for the Jewish synagogue. Somebody stole the original ones, right. And they were 20 inches long and 4 inches in diameter, and that was a bit of a nightmare, I must admit, because they wanted, I forget what the timber was now, but it was as brittle as hell.
Yeah. I'm just seeing if I can get OBS to display this photo of these goblets. Image, that should work.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Just got to make that fit. Give me a minute. Too big.
Yeah, that's it, Paul.
Nice.
Yeah, now, don't take this comment the wrong way, Paul. Sometimes the simple ones are the hardest ones to get right.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they were all intended as functional ones, so I didn't put the twist stems on or make them too elaborate. But what happened there was there's some people who live not far from me, and they moved from here up to Scotland, and they had these are from an apple tree in their garden. So they had this, or some of this apple tree cut down, which they said they had to do to get the removal van in so they could move. And
Yep.
they wanted something turned from that wood as a memento of the house. So they gave me the wood. I stored it for a while, dried it out, and produced these and some bowls for them.
Yeah, what are they finished with? And it looks like Rustin's, is it?
Yeah, Rustin's plastic coating. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah.
Yeah. Once it's on, it's pretty waterproof and impervious to just about everything, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a great finish. Actually, it's a bit finicky, but it's a good finish for certain items.
Yeah.
And Justin said, OBS, right click, transform, fit to screen.
Yeah. I'm still learning OBS. Get back to that.
Well, I'm really glad, Paul, that you stay up late enough to join this wacky group.
Yeah. I think I'll be leaving shortly. Got to get up for work in the morning.
Well, what do you do for a living?
Software engineer.
Oh, another geek.
Yeah. But yeah, I've been working from home since March, so I haven't got to go far.
You can't work at home?
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. Yes.
Oh, you go to your workroom.
Yeah.
And tell me, Paul, do you dress up for work when you go to work at home?
No.
No, it's funny. I've got a friend that he's been working at home since last 18 months, and he found that he had to still get dressed up to go to work.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you just couldn't get into it, you know.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, I've heard that from a few people actually. Yeah, I don't, but yeah, I know there are those that do. Yeah.
Like he thought it'd be great just flopping around in tracky dacks and t-shirt, you know, but he couldn't get anything done. But I must admit, I'm sometimes the same. Like if I want to start turning, I've got to put my turning jacket on because it means that I'm there to work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a psychological thing. I'm sure. Well, it has to be.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I just like the pockets in the back.
Oh, I don't.
Turning smock, I enjoy that. I just wish, and I've thought of it, but putting Velcro on the breast pocket, because that's where it collects all the paper. And every time I buy one, it seems that the machinery that does all the pocket stitching leaves a mess down inside the pocket, of which hold all the shavings. And throw it in the washing machine, the laundry won't take them out because you can't turn the pocket inside out. So I'm in there with a little pair of scissors trimming the inside pocket with stuff so I can clean it.
This jacket here has little pencil holders down in the sleeves here, and I fill them up with sawdust as well. But my normal work turning jackets do not have any pockets at all in them for that reason, because I just cover myself in shavings all day. But my demonstration jackets that I wear that have got my name and everything on them. Yes, they've got pockets in the back which are very handy for storing pencils and crap in. But I'm not doing the work that I normally do where the stuff's just coming over the top of me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I even wear a welding helmet under my face shield, believe it or not. Right, sorry, Paul.
Yeah, on some of my smocks, there's a pocket on the front for a pencil, and if you haven't got a pencil in it, that fills up with shavings as well, and they don't come out very easily. You got to really sort of work them out if you want to clear it out before you put the smock in the wash. So that was a
that'll teach you for knocking off the bingo pencils. They're too short in the slots. That's the problem. A friend of mine, that's what he does. He goes around the bingo halls and pinches all the pencils, and he reckons they're great for woodworking.
Yeah. No, I never put a pencil in the pocket. Actually, I've got a little magnetic thing I put on the headstock of the lathe, and the pencil goes in there, so I know where it is. Otherwise, I'll lose it. But yeah, so my pencil pocket always fills up with shavings.
Yeah, I must admit I sit pencils down on the lathe, or because I mark out a lot with a pencil. But we've got, I think every workshop's got a pencil gremlin that pinches them all. And then you find Sharpies used to be the thing that disappeared around our place. Black Sharpies when I had people working there. Anyway, I did my lolly one day and I said, "Listen, you lot," I said, bring back all the bloody Sharpies." 33 of them they had at home. Put them in their pocket and go home with them and take them out, when they got home.
Yeah.
And Justin, yeah, it can help with productivity to have a uniform and set workspace.
Yeah, it's a psychological thing. Some people need it.
Yeah.
And that I can understand. But the alternative that works with the same thing for people is when you get done working. I've had too many people, especially when I was teaching with the Ford crew, they would come in with their coat and tie and sport coat, and they'd be at a table saw, and you say, "You're going to get it ruined." That company pays for dry cleaning. I have a new suit tomorrow. Every day they have a new suit, a clean suit, because that's what's expected of them.
No, well,
the big problem is just the opposite. It's hard to get them out of a work piece, but when you get them out of their work clothes, it's a totally different personality.
Yeah.
Yep. No, the other thing is too, like, because the vast majority of my working life, I've always worked at home. I've got a big shed out the back, and that's where I work. I couldn't knock off. I'd go inside to have tea, and I'd still be thinking about work and this and that and everything else, and I couldn't knock off. Anyway, my dad was involved in psychological guidance and child counselling for children at school, and I was yakking to his boss one day, and he just happened to mention out of the blue, he said, "Oh, working at home, do you have trouble knocking off?" Because he used to have a psychological practice in one of his rooms at home, and he had the same problem. As he'd get dressed up to go to work, of course, because he was seeing clients. But he said he couldn't knock off of a night time. He was always working.
Yeah.
And he said he found the answer. And what the answer is when I go in now, if I'm knocking off, I take my normal work clothes off, put on tracksuit pants, and put on a pair of sandals. I kick my boots off. And that's a signal to the brain that I've stopped working for the day.
Yeah.
Generally. But even the kids got to know, like when we had the children at home, they got to know that if I took my boots off, I wasn't going back outside again.
Yeah.
Quite often I'd have to go out and change, like we used to do a lot of cabinet work. So every 4 hours I'd be changing over the clamps on glued up panels and things like that. So I'd have to go out of a night time, but
yeah.
It's just interesting the way you can train your brain to do certain things sometimes.
Yep.
Yeah, and it works. You've got to change. I know that's a problem I had for quite a while when I worked for the federal government. When I worked for the University of Michigan in a research lab for microcomputers, as as a research scientist, I didn't have to wear a coat and tie, though I had to have one in my office in case the dean wanted to see me because it was expected uh, during normal business hours. But after normal classroom hours, uh, it was different. Weekends, go to work, pair of shorts in the summer, and just like the students would dress, and we got more work done. But when it comes that's where I picked up the nickname Dr. Bob. That's been my nickname since I was teaching, or didn't teach, research lab, getting students to learn how to think. And the interesting thing is we had to, everyone had to call a person one by their title, you know, but I wasn't a professor. I wasn't hired as a professor. I was hired as a research scientist.
Yeah.
In a new field, making this toy computer do something. And that's what they called the small computers at the time, the DEC. A DEC computer was a toy.
Yeah.
And you could carry them around. Well, the first computer I had, I built from a Heath kit, and it was toggle switches to program it. And it was 4 bits.
Yeah.
And then it was like, well, you have to use their titles. So that's where the nickname Dr. Bob came from, because I had a PhD. They had to call me doctor. But there were 3 other Dr. Elliots on campus. So I had the nickname Dr. Bob, and they allowed it to be informal because research people, I could get away wearing a lab coat.
Yeah.
Other professors couldn't. They had to wear coat and tie. That was dress code.
Yeah.
Even if they were in chemistry, they could take the coat off, but they had to put a lab coat on. They still had to have that tie. But that was dress codes during that period of time.
Yep.
And a hangover from two grips. What you wore represented what you knew up here.
I was just thinking, Dr. Bob, that was a bit of an oxymoron, wasn't it? Working for the government. It's like army intelligence.
Yeah. Well, the first, do I have it here? No. Oh, yeah, I do. If it hasn't been stolen. My grandkids like to get into my wallet.
Geez, I've got a wife that does that.
That's where can I borrow $5? Or I borrowed $5. But some of the very first things that my lab did is use punch cards as airplane tickets. Back in the day, for Pan American Airways, because they had just got an IBM computer and it was all punch cards, and they wanted to look high tech, so that's what they wanted. But the readers were too expensive to put at the gates, so they wanted a cheap way around it. Marketing, they're the ones that said you use a punch card, 88 card. So they come and said, well, can you solve this problem for us? Because that's what I was not there for, but it was computers. And the funny thing is it took us 3 weeks to put take a recording tape and glue a card, the edge of it, take a recording head from a tape recorder and all the guts for the electronics, and it was a fixed speed capstan drive, which all makes sense. You put that card through, and it would read the number off of it as flat ASCII. Simple. Then they wanted to get fancier yet because it's nice to have a name. Then they wanted the ticket number, so we used the stereo head, the Monagra recorder, a Swiss machine, great accuracy, great speed, worked. And all of things, and they've gone to say, oh, this is what we need. We're high tech. But that's where I picked up the name Dr. Bob from, because I kept solving their problems to me with common sense.
Yeah.
And out of that, we went to a mag stripe card for access, and from a mag stripe to a chip card.
Yeah. I think it's bedtime for me, so I'll see you next time.
Yeah, no worries. Good to see you, Paul.
Have fun.
Yeah. We'll send you a link tomorrow if you want to join us. I'll forward you a link.
Maybe. Yeah, I can't guarantee I'm going to do this every night, but now and again.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah, but it'll be there in case you want to.
So, yeah, I can get the link off the Facebook page, hopefully. So,
okay.
I'll drop in again soon.
Okay.
Thanks for coming.
Cheers. Thanks for inviting me anyway. So that's good. I'll see you again soon.
See you later.
Bye. Going it late for me.
Yeah. See you.
All right, Dr. Bob. Thanks for coming in.
Yep. Oh yeah, I gotta make sure I get the kids up for school.
All right. See you later, Bob.
Thanks a lot, Jay.
No worries.
You put on a real good show. And I really like what your turning was tonight. I was watching.
Yeah. Something a little bit different.
No. Catch you tomorrow night.
Yeah, okay. See ya. No, Effie, I think he's married. And Shay, if you're still there, you're out of the bath yet. Could be getting a bit wrinkled if you're not.
All right, so I'm gonna try something a little bit crazy. Just chalk that down to being me, all right?
Yeah. Effie says, darn.
We'll try harder for you next time, Effie. Sorry.
Yeah, we are looking for you, Effie. Don't worry.
Yeah, Robbo does mention it. So I've got something really, really weird on the lathe at the moment. I can pretty much guarantee no one's ever turned it. You ready?
Yeah, go on.
Look, there it is there, look. No.
Yeah, I've quite often turned square blocks.
This is paddle pop sticks glued together.
Oh, yeah.
Paddle pop sticks.
Yeah.
I took the ends off on the bandsaw just before when you guys were talking. And I put a hole in either end, like a pierce hole, and none of it split apart. So I thought, well, that's a good sign.
Yeah. Well, they do it with bloody pencils. That was all the rage about 2 years ago.
Oh, yeah. So I thought I'd give it a whirl.
Yeah.
Can only explode.
That's right. Save that for tomorrow.
Okay. That was pretty close. Had the tool in my hand.
Well, it'll be interesting for some of them to see tomorrow.
Yep. So, this is what I did. Where's the bloody camera? Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's right. Did you manage to get the Still got the little Forstner mark down the bottom.
Yeah, I haven't finished. Haven't finished down there.
Oh, okay, right. Oh no, that came up. That came up well, actually.
Yeah. It's just that ridge there, and those ones down there, and the Forstner hole, really.
Yeah, well, you just keep working at it; it'll come out.
Yeah, I had to. It got to a point where it wasn't doing anything, so I had to undo the carbide bit and
turn it around.
Yeah.
Yeah, getting blunt.
Yeah.
Carbides do go blunt.
Yeah. I imagine that it does. It was only a cheap one. Well, you should know me by now.
Yeah, that's all right. Works. Who cares?
I think Amber paid like $6 for 2 heads, 2 round heads.
Oh yeah.
Not a bad little setup, I suppose. Cheap. All right, I'm going to knock it on the head now. Thanks for coming, everyone. Appreciate it.
Yeah, all right. See you later, everybody that's still in. Effie, Justin, Shay, if you're still there. And Chris, if you're still there too.